Vil I ikke sidde her? Eller, der er et enkelt plads.
Mange tak.
Selv tak.
Det er bare fordi, at jeg savner en.
Ja. Markus Hansen. Mit navn er Otto Hoffmann, og det er Lennart. Jeg var med samme tog som din kone og datter. Hvad ved I? Jeg synes, du har krav på at vide, at det ikke var en ulykke.
Hvorfor siger du, at det ikke var en ulykke?
Ham her. Men han skyndte sig af på den station sekunder inden ulykken indtraf. Til Kurt Tandem Olesen, der er præsident for rockergruppen Riders of Justice. Det var et attentat.
Jeg vil bede om at finde alt, hvad jeg kan for rockergruppen Riders of Justice.
Det er Emmentaler, vores face recognition ekspert.
Det er nok god til at finde ting. Er det noget, I kan, uden at det kan spores?
I har fattet det nemmeste for dig i verden.
Det er det nemmeste for mig i verden.
Og alle er med på, at vi nu er på vej ud og møde en psykopatisk rocker.
Nu snakker vi med ham.
Har du slået nogen ihjel før? Det så i hvert fald ud som om, at...
Vi har da ikke talt om at slå folk ihjel, Lennart.
Det er rocker. Det er jo ikke, fordi vi skal bombe en vuggestue. Vi er med.
Starter med at placere buffer i fjeder.
Ja, jeg kan bare godt lide os.
Så er der ikke færdig andenpladsen.
Det er ikke let at slå et andet menneske ihjel. Specielt ikke første gang.
De ved, hvem I er, og det kommer ikke til at stoppe, medmindre vi drikker den først.
Hvad der sker for?
Så er klar.
I'm not dead inside. I'm just chubby, a chubby little salami. And now I wish I had some salami in my fridge, or at least some spaghetti bolognese. But I do have a nice summer shanty, as summer is finally here. And how on this podcast do we celebrate summer? By watching an action/drama/comedy set in Denmark during Christmas time.
Christmas
2020. Yeah. We're watching Riders of Justice. That's right. I'm the one talking here, but I'm not alone. First up is a man who I assume at some point during this recording, we're going to hear him counting back from 500 as he slowly closes his eyes and goes to sleep. Mr. Davey Corsetto. David, how are you doing this evening? And what are you drinking?
I'm doing great. I'm drinking what I think is a very fitting beer for this movie. It's Michelob Ultra, but hold on. It's Michelob Ultra, but it's also pure gold for a pure gold movie and an ultra fantastic film at that.
I can't argue.
You can always make it work. I thought you were going to say it was Dutch, a Dutch drink. But
thanks a lot, Mikey.
Next up is a man who I'm convinced at some point spent some time on the internet, hopefully on a screen with good resolution, looking to see if Marcus's Christmas sweater was available for purchase. Mr. Christopher Mars, how are you doing, and what are you drinking?
I am doing well, Michael. That is a great idea, actually. That's going right in the cart. Going right in the cart.
Yeah.
I am actually drinking. You stepped all over it, but I happen to be drinking a nice extra dry martini made with Dutch craft vodka for our Dutch movie, as Dave would say. Which goes down smooth.
Yeah, it took a couple of weeks for him to finally realize it's not a Dutch movie.
Yep.
I think Chris texted me and said, "Do you think Dave's watched the movie yet?" And I said, "Well, never mind the Dutch." I said, "I don't think Dave knows the name of the movie at this point." Yeah. And then a couple days later, you had watched it. It was my second time seeing it. as it was recommended by you, Chris. I watched a couple of years ago.
Yep.
How did
I'm
you
However,
glad,
I like this movie so much that I bought it because I wanted
I
to
love that.
watch.
I love how Dave is consistently and constantly surprised when we tell him how great a movie is, and we rave about it.
But when he goes
And then
all
he
in,
watches
he goes
it,
all in.
and he loves it. Oh, I love that he enjoys it, don't you? I
I-
mean,
I like this movie.
s-
It had everything. It literally had everything. It was honestly an almost perfect movie.
it what's great. We'll get into everything, obviously, but the other thing, Michael, when you said when we were asking and contemplating whether Dave watched it yet, I had pointed out he would have called you a chubby salami.
That's true.
If he had, which of course, was prophetic, which happened a few days later.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I got out in my intro, got out ahead of it so it didn't happen again.
Yes.
So,
Good call. So what's amazing about this, I'll get into 3 reasons why I love this movie. And so I think I heard it on a podcast and watched it. I forget, watched it a few years ago and loved it, of course. And especially you hear Mads Mikkelsen in an action movie, and it sounds great. You see the trailer, it's like, Dave, your brother-in-law said it's a fantastic action movie. I don't. It's just. Does he think it's just an action movie? Like it's so great how it's kind of a twist, and it's like so different than an action movie, right?
I think it's great, but I don't classify it as an action movie. I classify it as more of a dark comedy.
Oh, it's hilarious. Yes, it's
A
right.
family
It's
comedy.
and it is, but it has great action, elements. But right, an emotional family drama with great black comedy.
Something about
Just great lines and the acting. I mean,
Yeah.
Mads is unbelievable again,
Unbelievable.
and the guy who plays Otto. The
It's
last
fantastic.
couple times I've watched, it does a great job.
that
But all these
yeah,
these people that are so broken
Yeah.
they
that
find each
all
other.
other
Yep, misfits and
misfits.
Mads, but I mean, they're all broken people, right?
Even
They're all,
Mads is broken, completely broken.
Of course he is. Of course he is. He has no way to get in touch with his emotions. Marcus, obviously, just which is basically the plot of it, like the whole relationship between him and his daughter, and obviously Leonard is obviously a broken person who we find out, things about him with the barn
Oh yeah.
and the uncles and the taking his pants down suddenly when Marcus is chasing him. Otto's obviously, we find out about Otto with his broken family and his arm and, from the accident. And then Emmentaler, maybe the funniest character. I mean, he's, obviously has some issues, some social issues. And
Now, are these all actors in the Netherlands?
well, they're not really Dutch. This movie's Danish. I don't know if Mikey explained that. They may be. You know what? I didn't do the research. They didn't do the research. They may be. Yep.
Danish is
Dutch
Denmark.
is no. Yep. Exactly.
Okay.
So
Right.
maybe they're from the Netherlands and learned Danish for this movie.
Hey, the Ukrainian guy learned it, so anyone
He
can.
did. I forget
something
his
about-
name.
yeah. There's something about Mads
Danish
Mikkelsen
name.
getting together with 3 other guys where there's like there's drama, there's comedy, and there's
Oh, yeah.
profound sadness. All around.
It really is right. That is very common. That is common in those 2 movies. Another round, in case anyone has never seen that. But yeah, it's I tried to push the movie. I don't know. A lot of people have seen the movie, even on our thread. I don't know if Greg or or John we'll get Paul eventually to watch it
I don't know if my
when it's
brother.
on some free service.
What's that?
I don't think he reads movies though.
No, he has Hulu TV, so he has this.
Yeah, but I don't think he likes to read subtitles. Is what I'm saying.
Well, you need to. Did he watch Parasite finally?
I don't know, but
I don't
You
know.
I
watch
find-
the American version, like the
I find
Americanized.
even
Ugh,
have.
please
I
don't.
don't know.
I don't mind watching reading closed captions once you're in through all of these movies. Again, you don't even the ones
You don't
we
notice.
Watch, you don't even notice.
And it's
I
like
agree.
that's how you
It's
get
amazing.
the real
like reading a-
performance.
Yeah.
Even the best subtitles, it's still not the actual person doing it. It just
Yeah.
doesn't.
No, it's
Oh, you
terrible.
mean dubbing? Yeah, dubbing.
Dubbing, yeah.
Brutal. Yeah, brutal. But it's somehow you just adapt and you're able to read it and appreciate the great acting and the feature and the facial features. And
There are times
yeah,
though where
no,
I'm
I just
looking at
thought-
them and I'm like, wait, what did he say? I have to bounce back a second because I'm.
Yeah, no, right. Sometimes it's a little, and they, you know, they speak fast when they have two lines, when they have the line of each character underneath each other. But yeah, no, I just love how the movie is not what you think exactly. If you watch the trailer, I sent the trailer and it just looks like, you know, what's
Revenge
the movie with, right? What's the movie, Nobody with
like that. Yep.
with
Those
Bob Odenkirk,
were,
which
man,
was great, you know. But I'm saying it's not exactly that. It's
something
not
about
exactly
these-
that, and it's
these Danish movies. They're like big. They're stories, but there's like character studies in there. You know?
oh, it's like yeah, just a lot of meat in the bone. There's a lot of depth to them. So
Right.
this is the
what's the Rotten Tomatoes score on this movie?
Oh, actually, let me go
What
through
is-
the stats real quick.
do that
so this
now.
is from 2020, written by Anders Thomas Jensen and Nicolaj Arcel, directed by Anders Thomas Jensen. And I sent you guys a link. I guess he did another movie called Men and Chicken with Mads Mikkelsen that looks like completely different. Looks like a farce of a comedy. This, of course, is starring Mads Mikkelsen, Nicolaj Likas, Andrea Heik, Gedeberg, Lars Brinkman, and Nicholas Bro. It has a Rotten Tomatoes critic score, or audience score is 89%. Some idiots don't like to read. Critic score 96%, 4%
Crazy.
are idiots. But you know, big, good, positive.
I don't know what they're looking for.
Exactly. It's a small movie. You know, I don't know what the conversion rate is, but it's 6.4 million American dollars in a budget. Only made 8 million, but it's not. I feel like it's a movie that gets life in streaming and home video. No Oscar nods or anything, but
I was just wondering about that. You know, like would they put it up for best, you know, foreign language film?
I
But
think
it's not the type of.
Right.
Well, I think it is. I think
it kind of is. It doesn't seem like it.
Right.
face
Exactly.
value, yeah.
Exactly. That's But go ahead. I'm sorry.
But it
you
had
were
some Danish
finishing
Film
up.
Awards nominations and wins, and some film festival stuff. But yeah, nothing at the Academy Awards.
Well, it's good. It's still a tremendous art too, for all the action and the.
Of course, it does. What do you mean? It's all about heart. This movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's all right. Let me roll off the three quick things. So, three things that make this the reason I love this movie and make it great. That while I mentioned it's not exactly just an action movie, there are great action sequences, right? And it makes you want to see Mads Mikkelsen in more action. You know, he could do this genre. You know what I mean? Couldn't you see him doing
In the final shooter?
like
I was like, I
taking-
need him in a hardcore action movie.
honestly, I thought the same thing. I'm like, he could do more of that. That's exactly what I said. I'm like, you know,
Well,
he could be an action star.
It's just
The second,
Well, hold on. Just that scene where you went to that door to knock on that guy's door, and the guy came out like an asshole.
yeah,
And he
yeah,
starts
no, the
walking.
one they show in the trailer.
That
That
Yeah.
might have been my favorite.
That
moment.
music's going, and he fucking kills this guy.
It's like
And then-
you could
I
feel
shouldn't
the
have done
wheel
that.
spinning in his head.
Then he's like, "I'm sorry, that was an accident."
Right.
Yes.
He goes and he doesn't it doesn't stop. He doesn't think. He's just walking and boom, turns right around and just
Yeah,
This
that might have been my
yep,
favorite moment.
fantastic.
it was great. So the second reason is the dark humor. There's so many lines that I didn't appreciate. You know, you just have to watch it a few times to appreciate it. Like, you know, obviously the chubby salami, the little things out of the blue, like when he's telling him about Planet Fitness, and you know, he's telling him he needs to he needs to renew his membership. The handicapped, what does he say? Blind kid could hack that with his feet. You know,
And
when Ermantella's going off on, Ermantella wants to, you know, be like Marcus a little.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like all these
thinks he can be.
bullies all his life. He wants to get revenge, and he's going through the guys and saying death sentence. And Leonard says, "Wouldn't it be easy to name the ones not sentenced to death?" You know, so just so many great lines that
And
is so funny.
The funny part of them being mistaken for the psychologists and the
Mhm.
and the guy's going all in on it. Like, okay, we're gonna be it.
Yes.
We're gonna do it then, because
He's super intelligent.
right, he's super
He's
intelligent
been to
and
25
yeah, he's been to so many
psychologists.
psychiatrists.
Yeah, he's brilliant. That's what Emmentaler says about him, right?
Mhm.
So the third reason, just such a unique story, right? It's just, you think it's one type of movie, you think it's a revenge movie, and then it's this, has such depth, and the family the drama, like each person with going
Right.
through the
It's a movie
trauma
of, like,
and
Choices
damaged people.
and
Yeah.
choices and then also coincidences.
It's chances
Yeah,
and coincidences. Yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously it's a Christmas movie, so
But I
on
also-
top of that,
Well, I also think, like, if you think about Matt's character, he is so angry that the fact that someone tells him that it could be it's not an accident, that gives him a reason.
of course,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
he
it
has,
gives
like,
him
the excuse now to
it
kick
gives him a
ass.
reason to live, really. Besides, I mean, he has a reason to live. That's his daughter, and
Yeah.
it gives him, like, he can't deal with his
Purpose.
daughter, obviously. So, but this gives him a purpose. This gives him an excuse. Especially, it's right up his alley. Something, he must be
And,
special forces or something.
Yeah.
So let me bang out the plot real quick,
Yes,
and then we'll break down
let's roll.
some of these parts and scenes. So it starts off, girl in Estonia wants a blue bike. I love how the Christmas beginning starts. Wants a bike for Christmas, but she wants a blue one. Sets everything in motion.
That sets everything.
Everything in motion. You in Denmark, which is not Dutch. Matilda gets her bike stolen. Needs to get a ride with her mother. Her car won't start. They end up taking the train. She convinces her we'll take the day off. Take the train. And obviously, tragically, mother dies in the accident. And Marcus comes home.
That
He and his
accident was,
daughter.
like,
That was pretty good effect.
it was
huh?
good, like a good effect. Yeah, it was
It
really
was
jarring.
disturbing. Yeah, it was. Marcus obviously, has trouble. They both have trouble dealing with it. Marcus won't reach out for help. And we have Otto, who's a statistician. He just got fired, which was a funny scene. He was on the train. He thinks it wasn't a coincidence. Goes to the police, who ignore him. And then to Marcus. He thinks it was a plan to eliminate a witness on the train. He was going to testify against the biker gang, Riders of Justice.
It seemed like a good scene.
Oh,
it seemed
seems
plausible,
very valid.
plausible.
You seems like the plot of the movie.
Yeah.
So Otto goes to his friends, Leonard, who's the hacker, and Emmentaler, who's the facial recognition guy. They find someone leaving the train right before the accident, and he happens to be the brother of the Riders of Justice leader. Which, by the way,
they
what are
think he
the
is.
odds of all this,
Oh,
anyways, of them being
yeah.
wrong? So they all go to Marcus' house. They go with Marcus to the guy's house. Marcus ends up killing him, which Dave just mentioned. They see the poor Ukrainian kid who's being held as a sex slave, and the riders use his name's Bodashka to find Emmentaler, Anal-thaler, I think his name is, and they try to drive-by shooting. Marcus kills them all, and they rescue Bodashka. Although Marcus
there's another
is
great
possibly
scene
going to kill him.
where they're
So
shooting
great.
at them, and Marcus doesn't he just runs full speed at this guy. with
Yes,
the gun in
at the
his
guy
hand.
who doesn't know how to who
so
is not
great.
as right.
No
adept.
hesitation.
So Matilda sees all the guys that they're at the house. We'll mention specific parts, obviously. Like I said, the barn, Leonard's obsession with the barn is hilarious. So they see all the guys at their house. They explain it's a therapy thing. Leonard tries to, pretend he's a therapist on Matilda, which is pretty successful besides the chubby little salami comment. So they want to plan a hit. Like you said, Marcus has a purpose. They kill some of the guys. They don't get the leader, and go back. But Ashka ends up explaining to Leonard that the guy they thought was on the train, he couldn't have been there. And then they cut to the Egyptian guy going home, and he says he hated the food. That's why he threw the drink and the sandwich out. So it was all a coincidence. The revenge plot was all in error. Marcus breaks down. Obviously, no way to deal with things, right? So he's no outlet.
Yep.
So some bad things to Otto, who had killed his daughter driving drunk and left
That's
his
how
arm
he learned,
disfigured.
Best
Yeah.
economy.
So that scene is amazing. He tells Marcus he's right.
So good.
Marcus should do whatever he has to. What Otto couldn't. He has time to have a relationship with his daughter. So he's going to take that. And of course, the Riders of Justice come for revenge. And by the way, Sirius is the one I was talking about. That was in another round.
Is
Did
that
you
the
notice
kid
that?
who
That's the kid
drank?
who was drinking. Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
now once you said that, oh wow, I didn't.
I noticed it
make that
just
connection.
with this. This is the first time I watched it again for the pod. So the Riders of Justice come for revenge and try to kill everybody. Marcus is able to kill all the guys inside. They get Matilda taken hostage outside. Marcus has to lay down his gun, and Otto, Badashka, Leonard, all the guys come up firing, kill the gang. They shoot.
Of course, they shoot Matilda.
They shoot Matilda in the arm. Marcus kills the leader. The poor guy's like, oh, why do you what'd we ever do? They were bad guys. So
True.
Marcus is injured, says he wants to
This
get help.
sucks.
He finally
He
has
said- He just said this sucks.
yeah, he says this sucks. He does. So
yeah.
so they make it so like a very emotional scene. You don't know if Marcus will make it, and they cut to the end. A few months later, Christmas, they celebrate. Emmentaler plays Little Drummer Boy, and we see Matilda has a new bike. That is the plot.
Now
Now,
we get to see the kid get her blue bike at the end.
the fact
Yes.
that Matt's sitting there with the ugly sweater is like, okay, he's trying to be better, but you can tell he's like, what the fuck?
Right.
Oh,
It's like,
it's
is he going to
awesome.
smile? He kind
No,
of
he
gives a
doesn't
nod.
smile.
That's his. But I feel
Yeah.
like at the end, you see they're like, they all become the family that they needed for each other.
Yeah, Marcus finally has like human connection with people.
Yep.
Like these are his friends actually, and he obviously, you hope he has a connection now with his daughter. So I mean, the scenes earlier were pretty rough. Have you been running? The girl just lost her. Girl just lost her mother. We agreed you run 3 times. And then count backward from 500. So
I can't
Now,
sleep.
if anyone
My
was
mom
going to be
died.
the
I
fat
can't
guy
sleep.
in this movie, who do you think would be of all of us?
who would be what?
Who would be what's his name? The fat guy with the weird. He's all weird. What's his name?
Emmentaler?
Emmentaler. That'd be
Yeah,
Mikey.
Dave. Who?
100% be Mikey.
Yeah, and you'd be the Ukrainian boy, hairless and bent over. There. So we all have our parts.
We'll get to some of those parts. But it's what was I going to say? Marcus. Oh, I was saying how obvious they stressed how bad Marcus was. He really didn't know his daughter, as Otto said. And he, as far as adapting to his losing his wife and this at the same time, and
Tremendous
she just
speech
lost her
by
mother.
Otto.
Terrible. And then it was. And but how about Marcus at the beginning also just smacks Sirius, and then it's like, oh geez, just obviously he wasn't dealing
Or-
He's
with
not a very
or-
well adjusted man.
Later, when he tells Otto he's going to punch him right in the nose if he doesn't stop.
And he does.
just
I was
whacks
afraid.
him.
I was like, oh no, Otto, shut up.
But it
Right.
was funny because he just kind of slumped over. It was like, it was
And
played
then
for
he just
laughs a
took
little
out the
bit.
cat and
there.
laid him out.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we find the Ukrainian kid lying over the table with the tray of like whatever it was, I guess that's when you realize that. Oh my god, I'm really bad with these guys' names.
Yeah, I don't.
When he
Which
sees them, the guy that was in the barn,
Leonard.
Leonard, yeah,
The guy who's obsessed with the barns.
he's upset. So my thing is, okay, he's not gay, but he recognized that this kid
He
was.
might be. I mean,
Yeah,
he
it
was,
just-
seemed like he was abused. He seems
Yeah,
like he was
he
abused.
He sees another
well,
victim that he can help.
Oh, he definitely has a human connection. Right. He
But this-
has a connection with him, and he has empathy and everything. So
And that kid's
Yeah.
so broken that he assumes that he's going to want to have sex with him. That-
Well,
Motherfucker,
yeah.
asshole before-
right. I mean, that's all. That poor poor
he's like,
kid
no,
is obviously.
I'm okay.
Yeah, that
But
poor
But he
kid is
thanks him. Thank you
obviously-
for not,
Yeah, exactly. But
Giving me the A.
some of the funniest scenes were when what was his name again?
Mikey would have said,
Bodashka. So when he just offhand tells the story of his buddy Africa. What was the they played another game. It was,
when he talks about his client or his
and
colleague,
he's
right?
well, he first tells him how much he got paid, and they're like 12,000 euros a month. They're like, what? And I only get 250, right?
Yeah.
And the Star of Africa, and he's, oh, that was the name of one of my friends, one of my colleagues. Oh, he got strangled by
Right.
by
They
a
think
regular
he's
client.
just an au pair, and he's talking about being
Yes.
a prostitute.
Yeah, they were. That was something. That was something.
You hear his story, how he was like basically sold into this. It was like
Yeah,
crazy.
but he was, you very likable character, and
Oh, yeah.
he
And he does all the au pair
obviously-
work. He cooks, he cleans, he helps Matilda with her sweater.
yes,
he
very
wants
nice.
to. What's that?
Do you guys think Matilda was hot or no?
I think she was 16. So.
No, she's 24.
Oh, I'm glad you looked it up. You fucking
Looked it
creep.
up.
You looked it up. Is it okay if I have these feelings? Oh, thank God it is.
Yeah, there wasn't much. Not much space for Dave's
Apparently there was.
usual hook, right?
The biker girls, maybe?
Okay, one of my favorite
Yeah.
scenes. I'll be honest, my favorite scenes was when Mad realized it was an accident.
You can call him Marcus. Oh yeah, when he had the
Poor
breakdown,
Mads.
that was his best acting.
Best
Beats
acting.
the shit out of the kitchen, of the
Destroyed
bathroom.
Just trying to,
fucking
and that's when he's trying. He's forced to accept the loss of his wife. You know what I mean? That he has to deal with it, and that was a great scene.
and then the rooftop with him and Otto having that conversation
Yes.
afterwards.
So when the first time I watched that, I'm like,
Fantastic.
I was like, oh, he's a little, he was kind of a dick to Otto. And then,
Like, yeah.
but then I'm like, Otto did an unthinkable thing.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
and
like,
he talked him into something that that
yeah,
killed all these people.
but Marcus, I don't even think Marcus blamed him for that. But Marcus is like, you're telling me, like, not to, I should mention this.
Yeah.
I should mention this hypocrisy that you're telling me to, and then, to take care of my daughter. And he goes, well, you didn't take care of your daughter. Which
right,
was a blow, but obvious, it wasn't like,
it wasn't
uncalled for.
With great acting, it made you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable by the guy who plays Otto too.
Yeah.
And then the line saying, don't you think but you're right. I was an idiot. Be worse than an idiot. But yeah, he's like, that was a great scene. One of the scenes, just so many funny scenes, right? With when Leonard puts the gun that you mentioned, when they put they have to assemble the guns.
Yep.
But it's funny because he's like, Leonard's like, when are we gonna have to put these guns together? After so Emmentaler puts it together in like 2 seconds, and then Leonard puts it together backwards.
Yeah.
And he says, "Done, second place." That's what he yells out.
I love.
And then
I never the chubby guy, big guy.
It's Emmentaler.
After they go to the restaurant to chase them down, and he ends up killing everybody.
And
his just emotional breakdown when he realizes, I am not you. I'm not cut out for this. I don't want to do this.
It's probably
just crying. Like, they're going to put the radio on, but like, and they're there to, like, calm him down.
They know how to
that was us.
Yeah,
that was
at
awesome.
The end, they
but
rub
it was
his
almost
back.
like that's what Otto rubbed his back after Leonard made fun of his French horn playing, which is great. But
what a great ending what that was though, when he was rubbing his back and he started French horn, and it was just a fucking great ending.
Yeah,
it was awesome. So what cracked me up though was what was many of the lines, but after Marcus breaks Otto's nose after he won't shut up, and then Marcus is driving and they're talking, and he's like, what's his problem? You know what I mean? Like what why wouldn't he shut up? And they say Emmentaler says, well, he's got many problems, but right now his main problem is that he's lying in a ditch. He's lying unconscious with his nose broken, or whatever he said. Oh no, he's lying unconscious in the bike lane. In the bike lane. That's his main problem.
That's when they tell him.
Mm-hmm.
So they tell Marcus, his backstory.
Yes, exactly. And it's funny. The two of them are like, no, we he told us all of it. And then they're like,
I like that.
Well, he told us, but they looked at it. Yeah, they did. And then he's like, well, I mean, he has a picture of his wife and daughter. I mean, that's you just begging to be, to have your business out there. So,
is that a stuffed olive or is it just a regular olive?
garlic stuffed.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah. So let me
The
see
scene
what
where
else.
Matilda at the end.
Say that again.
What's that?
The scene where he's carrying Matilda at the end when you don't know what the hell's going on
Yeah.
either.
When
'Cause
you
you
think
don't
he might
know-
die.
You don't know if Matilda got hit
Yeah.
in a major organ either. You don't know. You guess it's the opposite. You don't know if either one of them are gonna die or both of them are gonna die. But that was an emotional scene. That was a great scene. And the dialogue between them, because you feel like if he goes, that's it for her. Like she's got no one left.
But then he finally says,
Yeah.
"Maybe I need help." You know, I mean, I
Yeah.
do need
Yeah.
help.
Oh, yeah. That's when he admits he needs help, and so.
But I love right
I
before
just-
the shootout when he noticed he's outside and he realizes
Oh, he's in the barn.
they're
Yeah.
coming, and he runs and just doesn't even blink. He just tackles her. Like,
Yeah.
whatever else happens. But he
Exactly.
tackles her, gets her down. Says, "Get in your
And
bedroom." lock the door."
poor Emmental is like, I didn't get hit. His blood spurting out
It's
of
like
his
out
head.
of his head. Yeah.
So,
I wanted
I loved-
to say Mikey either. I want to let him go. I mean, he's obviously the biggest human target. I'd let Mikey get hit too.
Mikey is not Emmentaler. So, by the way, we have to do. When we were just talking about the next movie, I was like, I know Mikey just did this on his movie month, but could we do the Banshees already?
Oh my god! Yeah.
So speaking of YouTube,
Speaking of a movie that you think is one thing, then becomes another.
yes. So, but some of the lines I loved Emmentaler out of the blue. Like he seemed to be like the most on Marcus's level. You know what I mean? Like when he's like, all right, we'll both get revenge. We'll get revenge, whatever. And it was just so funny how he had such issues. Obviously he had, he's on the spectrum or something, but he like shaking people's hands, obviously.
Like, yeah,
but
I said he almost like the Queen. He puts his hand up, he puts his head
yeah,
down.
but when Marcus was near his equipment,
You're too close to the wires.
He's like, starts going crazy, and then he's like,
help himself to talk about how bad the resolution on the screens were. Like that's the one
you
thing that
mean
would ruin everything.
you mean on the pussy monitors?
Yeah.
Like his phrasing of Leonard's equipment. But I loved how he was doing all this in front of Matilda.
Yeah. Meanwhile, they're supposed to be the counselors.
Yeah.
That's going.
Yeah, that's when is it serious? Was like, oh, is this some type of therapy? And then Leonard's like, oh, that's good.
Yes,
good job by you. She's like, what does that stand for? And he's like, we'll talk about that later. And then Sirius tells him. So poor Sirius with his broken fingers.
The Sirius, man, he's right out there talking to Mads and Marcus at the beginning, like explaining to him things like, I was like, shut up, guy. That's not your place. Let Matilda.
I know. But well, even right away. I mean, he didn't yell it. He's like, she doesn't need this right now. It's like, so yeah.
I would be too afraid to talk to him like that. Yes, sir. No, sir.
But I think the underlining everything happens from chance, and then opening scene with that one in the blue bike, and and then at the end,
sets everything in motion. I love.
There's a million things.
You love how
get
everything is
point.
set. Exactly. But do you notice how they mention, how Otto's playing chess with her, and he's basically saying, this is the game with not, the opposite of chance. Things don't happen. It's all in your control. It's all. I played chess last night. You got beaten once again by Aiden. Not enjoyable.
No idea.
Really?
No.
Yeah,
idea.
he's really good.
Idea. Yes. And your son beat you?
He's really good.
Really?
Yeah,
it's good.
We played for like an hour, and I almost.
It's like
I used to beat him all the time.
Like people who play chess, I feel like are good.
Yeah, I don't see enough moves ahead.
Mikey,
what's that?
You play chess?
God, no.
You just play. What do you play?
What do you want me to say? My dick and balls? I mean, what do you want? Like, do you want me to say? What do you play?
He wants you to say, do you want to fuck? He wants you to say, do you want to fuck me in the ass before?
You're right.
You want to fuck me in the ass before you go to sleep? Don't clip that, Mikey. Don't clip that.
No, that's in. Actually, that might be the end.
That's in. That's in. That's what he said for you, Mike.
Yeah. What do you play, Dave? I know there's a guitar in your closet that you haven't touched.
That's right.
But one thing about the back to the movie. Did you guys
yeah,
notice
the
how
movie.
beautiful and giant the barn was? I'm just kidding.
Yes.
I love that he's like, I think they were talking about wanting to go into the barns. Let's go into the barn. Like he kept, I mean, you realize later it's for like, it's sad, but at the beginning it's just funny. Like, what a barn.
Yeah. Oh, he's like, do you know how old this is? And he's like, no. Yeah. Let's see. I think we hit on most scenes. Hilarious lines. We probably missed a few of them. Oh, Leonard's plan was to he wanted to whack one of them and kill the rest at the funeral.
And go to the funeral. Like they're just thinking like movie stuff or something. Like there's too many women and children there.
Otto's like, there's gonna be women and children there, right? Like Leonard was like up for it, but he's like, not really.
A little lost.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it's Otto said, he goes, well, they don't really have much to do. They don't have many friends. That's what they're. And now Dave's eating dinner, literally eating dinner with his son. Hey, Andrew. How's it going?
How's it going?
Hey, Andrew.
Jesus
How's it
Christ,
going?
Dave, what are you eating?
We're gonna wrap this up anyways.
Yeah, this is good timing. I gotta go.
Hopefully, you didn't hear
movie.
that last clip.
Mikey,
you
you
gotta watch a movie.
What do you have to go do, Mikey?
You gotta go watch a movie.
Well,
Loser.
Yeah. What are you eating there, bud?
Calzone. Buffalo.
You got a buffalo calzone, Davey. What do you have?
chicken wrap.
Chicken wrap, grilled chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, got to keep those muscles popping.
That's right, Mikey. Right.
Did we finish the pod?
Yeah, I think we're done now. So, so this movie, yes, great movie overall. I mean, there's no like.
Give me some good movie choices lately.
Yeah. It I'm glad you liked them as much as we thought you would.
What movie?
We'll keep doing it.
Riders
you have
of
to
Justice.
read.
Yeah,
It's
Andrew,
a great
you have to
movie,
read.
though, Andrew.
You love it. You love it, Andrew.
You probably would, yeah. And you might, Andrew, you might like
Very
our next
entertaining.
movie.
Show him the trailer.
Because next time, Andrew, we're going back to 1993. We're going back to
Again?
Jurassic Park. Back to 93 again. Dinosaurs, Andrew. Don't little
Can't
kids
beat it.
like that?
So
Jurassic-
spectacular.
Robin, when we were in love.
Andrew,
Jeez.
Andrew, 2 thumbs up.
This is awkward.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, what's that, Dave?
You said they made me, so that's all that matters.
That's true. That's good.
Yeah.
Great. Wow,
Andrew,
awesome.
have you ever seen Into the Spider-Verse?
You got the cartoon one?
Yeah.
No.
Fucking
It is.
asshole. I mean, yeah.
I was the same way. I was like, you really want me to watch a cartoon? But
So good.
life-changing.
Now we can't shut up about it.
I really can't. I really can't shut up about it because I hate most comic book movies. Not hate. I shouldn't say Mike.
Well, as we said, next time we're going back to Jurassic Park. But listen, you can find us on Twitter at @fine_movies. You can find us on Instagram at Fine Movies, Fine Spirits. You can find Dave sitting next to his son, who I can see is laughing at me right now, but that's totally fine.
You can find Mikey any kindergarten across the state. He's not supposed to be there,
No.
but you can find him there.
Outside the kindergarten.
Yeah, I don't know what
In a
I'm doing.
van.
Yeah.
In a van.
What? Christopher, any other parting words? Any final words?
Nope. I won't plug Across the Spider-Verse again.
Fine. That's
Catch
fine.
us on Instagram and Twitter.
Yep.
At what handle, Mikey?
Fine_movies and Fine Movies, Fine Spirits. David, any parting words while you're shoving food in your face?
No. This is good.
No! Oh my God.
Andrew, any parting words from you?
Tell him.
No.
You're good. Congratulations on graduating.
Congrats on the
Andrew.
job.
And the
And the
job.
union.
And the union.
Yes.
And why don't you take us out? Say goodbye, Andrew.
Say goodbye.
Bye, Mikey. Bye.
Chris.
Chris.
Just say goodbye to the whole masses, to the
Uncle
millions
Chris,
of people around the world. Jesus Christ. Andrew, you have to realize you're going to take over once your dad dies. You're taking over the show. So
Hell no.
yeah, you're in. All right. We're out.
We talk about great movies while drinking. We talk about great movies while drinking. Yeah, we talk about great movies while drinking, and we feel fine.
Doesn't your young friend like all-time great movies like Across the
You know what?
Spider-Verse?
No. So that was the whole thing last night.
From my understanding, no, based on what I've heard.
She made me watch Ladder 49, and I'm like, this is the fucking worst movie. She's like, I'm like, it's got a Rotten Tomato score of like 40. She's like, well, the audience score is 81. She's like, your movies suck that you guys. I'm like, okay, so let's start pulling them up. 90s.
It was a couple weeks ago. Dave says, have you ever seen this movie? And I go, Dave, I think this is a Lifetime movie.
It was a Lifetime.
And it was,
Oh, God.
starring Judd Nelson.
Fucking horrible.
Fans not experts.